Welcome back, folk. I know it's been a couple minutes, but I'm back. I'm back with a new project. See, I've been looking for another printer. I know I said I wasn't buying any more equipment, but the EcoSolvent, the Muto, is great. It does pretty much 90% of what I needed to do. But if you go back and look at some of the other videos, the one specifically I'll go ahead and I'll put up there, and how to start a sign shop. One of the key things is that the market kind of steers you where you want to be and what you want to do depending on what you're doing. And like I said, I kind of expand out of my hobbies. So with RC car racing and the fishing and all that stuff kind of translate. Everyone always needs something. So a lot of these RC car guys are paying a lot of money for these wraps, but everyone, well, for the most part, everyone is using their inkjet printers. But I stumbled across this deal, and the gears started going in my head. I'm like, I can use that. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So 54-inch Muto EcoSolvent 4-color printer. Cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. So the great thing about this new printer is that not only will it print colors, all these colors, sorry for all the extra crap here. So it'll print all this process colors, sort of like what you're doing with vinyl, but you can actually print white, chrome, fluorescence, gold, metallics. Yeah, I'm talking about I bought a Edge 2 printer. Now, these printers have their place in the sign market. Now, they are not the most cost-effective way to print, but they offer specialty things that you just cannot do with an EcoSolvent printer. For instance, when you want to do chrome or fluorescent colors on an EcoSolvent printer, you typically have to print that stuff black or in gray tones. It's really, really difficult to produce like real bright, vibrant colors. When someone wants fluorescent, they want fluorescent. There is no compromise. So generally you have to start with fluorescent. And so the EcoSolvent creates some unique challenges trying to satisfy the customer. But, these edge printers, they're called thermal printers, thermal heat printers. And essentially what it is there's a print head and it heats a foil, and that foil embedded in the vinyl. And the great thing about edge printers is that you're not necessarily limited to just white vinyl. You can use all the colors in the rainbow like you normally would on an EcoSolvent printer, but you have the option to print specialty colors. You can physically print chrome and like a chrome gold with these edge printers. So that's kind of what I'm doing. This is where I'm going down. My good buddy Alan gave me a good deal on this printer, but there's a problem. So when I initially took the edge printer, got it home, figured out what I needed. I know that Flexi has the drivers for it, which is great. He gave me a copy of Omega. I think the USB dongle is missing, so basically this is, 4 pounds of paperweight. It's got the discs and everything, but without the USB drive, this basically has no value. But I'm going to use Flexi to drive this printer, and Flexi does have the drivers, and I can get it all set up through Flexi. There are some limitations. I'm not using the HS15 cutter that is ideal for this setup. Instead, I'm going to make it work with my Q54, my GraphTech 8600. And I understand that there's crop marks and all that. I get all that, but we're gonna work through that. First things first. Power the printer on, the fan kicks on, but I get absolutely nothing in the display area. Not really sure what was going on. I kind of skimmed through the manual, and it just there wasn't a lot of information there. I kind of figured that I had an issue. So I went on one of the Facebook forums, It's a specific Gerber Edge market. So they have the original Gerber Edge, the Edge 2, and the latest and greatest Gerber Edge FX. And there's a lot of knowledge on those boards. I'm not afraid to reach out for help and ask questions. I never have been. So there were some people on there that suggested pretty much what I already did, but I went ahead and did it anyways. And there was a gentleman that commented on a specific gentleman at one of the sign suppliers to reach out to. And his name was Domingo, and he is from Westco Sign Company. Great guy. Talked to him for about 10-15 minutes. He told me to go over some things, double check those, and in the worst case scenario, I'm going to need a very expensive part in order to get this printer fired up. So let me flip back over here. So in this printer, you can see that there are some 20-year-old. Essentially, there are date stamps on these wires here from 2002, which would make this printer 20 years old. Nothing wrong with that. These things, generally when they work really, really well, but when a part goes bad, it's pretty expensive. So I was told to go through and check all these connections because I have no display for my LCD screen here. Nothing comes up. It doesn't say initialize. It doesn't say anything. The printer will not do anything. So I was advised to check these connections, check all these connections, all of these. Because this printer sat for about 5 years, you know, you get a lot of dust and stuff. So I did clean it. I blew it out with some compressed air to get some of the dirt and the rest of the crud and everything on there. But double check, pull all the connections out. But unfortunately, it still won't fire up. So at this point, I'm going to call Domingo back. A new motherboard from Gerber. He kind of shot off the hip there, and he said they're about $5,000 to $6,000. So I am, number one, going to look for a replacement board. Number two, possibly find someone that can repair these boards. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm going to keep this video updated as to how this kind of progresses. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and we'll see what we can find. Okay, so the consensus is this is the motherboard, this is the driver board. The consensus is the motherboard is bad. I get no initialization from the printer when it's powered, so I'm actually going to pull this board out and see if we can't find anything visibly wrong with it. I'm going to go ahead and look over it and see if we can't find anything wrong with it. Well, looks like I got a bad motherboard. I went ahead and I took both boards out. Once I talked to Domingo, these machines are really easy to work on. We went through and we double checked all the connections, the wiring, the ribbon cable, and he kind of told me a little bit, you know, what each one does. The bottom board essentially is the motherboard, and because when we power it up, we don't get any beeps, no initialization. He said the print head is actually supposed to engage and move, but I get none of that. I don't even get any beeps out of the printer when I turn it on. All I get is the fan. So I have a guy that I'm hopeful that can help me out with this. I know that they're replacement boards. I'm going to reach out to Randolph and see if he wouldn't mind taking a look at these boards. When I pulled the boards out, I blew them off with the compressor a little bit better, and I actually took the memory out of the motherboard. Domingo said it wouldn't make a difference. He said but he said it probably wouldn't hurt. So I did, cleaned all that. Gonna hope that that Randolph can kind of get me going in the right direction again, because I know that there are spare parts available. But I figure if the board's bad, let Randolph take a stab at it and see if he can fix it. If he can, it's a great resource for all of us printers and cutters for those expensive OEM pieces. So keep you guys updated and see if we can't get this bad boy fixed. All right, guys, I'm back. The boards are back. I actually had to send the boards out to the plotter doctor. The original guy that I was going to reach out to, I have all the confidence in the world that he could have fixed them. His only, I guess, dilemma was not being able to guarantee that the boards were working unless he had the whole printer. It's a long story. Gerber wants $700 for a box, and I really wasn't comfortable packaging and shipping the whole printer up to him. I reached out to the plotter doctor, told him what the issue was. They said send all 3 boards in the power supply. They'd check them out. Got a call about a week ago, and they put them back in, found the problem, replaced the board, and so they're back here in my possession. So I've got driver board. This is the one that was bad. Motherboard, driver, mother, one of the two, and the power supply. So I am going to put them back into the Edge and see if we can get some power to it. Alrighty, so we got everything wired back up here, and before I even fire this up, I just want to give you all a heads up. Again, this machine is 20 years old, and my hat's off to Gerber when they thought about this machine and how well thought out it is, even from the user, the end user part, where I probably shouldn't be in here. But let me show you something. So, you have all these driver wires that go to the different motors and whatnot. So what they did is, you can see right here, so they have these, every plug has a number on it, and it coincides with the number down here on the board. So you can't mess any of this stuff up. It's almost, even from the ribbon cables, everything was just pretty much plug and play. Here, this one's, see here, 881. So 881 goes right down here to, see, it's already numbered on the board. So you really can't screw any of this up. So I'm fairly confident that I got this right, but I have yet to plug it up, and I'm going to plug it up on camera, because if baby's going to fry, then everyone's going to see it. So let me switch around here to the other side, and we'll get it plugged up and see what happens. So just a standard grounded outlet. Plugged in. Let's see what happens here. Fingers crossed. Let's hit the power switch. Life. Oh boy. Okay. What's going on here? Let's close this and see what happens. Offline. That's good, because I never got that before. Power's up. Let's online, offline. See if we can't get her to let's see here. So going down here, it says online. I'm not really sure what any of this means yet. Like, so I'm going to go through and see what happens. But at least we got some light indicators down here. I hear things kind of moving around. Things look good. So my Gerber Edge 2 is alive. Got some more videos to do. Obviously, still have to get it hooked up to the computer. Obviously, I'm running Flexi, and we just need to, I guess, get our bearings straight and see how this old girl's going to work out. So y'all stay tuned for the next episode. Appreciate you watching, and happy sign making. See y'all, sign folk.